Yo, what is up guys? My name is Elusive and welcome to a brand new video all about Terraria 1.4 Summoner. This is all about the loadouts that you can get for many different parts of the game. So we got the pre-boss start, so this is like right around whenever you first spawn in, you haven't done any bosses. And then this is about the pre-boss, and it's basically kind of another version of this. This is like the very early of the game, and then this will be towards more bosses, like once you start to begin the bosses. And then you got Slime to Queen Bee, and the reason why I have a checkpoint on this is because Queen Bee gives a lot for summoners, mostly the armor. And then you got pre-wall of flesh, so like right before the wall of flesh, right as you're about to fight it. And then you have right after the wall of flesh, as you enter hard mode, what you can get pretty early on. You got PreMech, so anything you can get before PreMech bosses. And then pre-planned Terra. That's pretty self-explanatory. Right after the mech bosses, whatever you can get with that. And then right here with PreGolem, which is pretty self-explanatory. Right before Golem, you know, Plantera between Golem right there, and then pre-lunar, so right before you defeat the lunar cultists, whatever you can get there. And then right here with the lunar event, so whenever you defeat the first or the Stardust pillar right before Moonlord. And then finally you have after Moonlord. So let's go ahead and get started right here. There are going to be like some variants and stuff. Probably what I'll do is I'll have this world down in the description for you guys to download so you can check out, and in the chest we have like some different variants that you can do. So right here, pre-boss start, you'll want to get a finch staff, which you can find those in the living wood trees. Now in those chests you want to get pretty basic things like Hermes boots, anklet, aglet, sandstorm, snow, blizzard, whatever in a bottle. The ring, I forget what it's called, but the regen ring is really good, and then the shark tooth necklace. All of these are pretty important. Now you'll have a 6 slot if you're playing master mode, so if you're not playing master mode, just get rid of one of these. Like you can replace like the aglet, or not replace it, but you can get rid of it until you get a new demon heart. But all the extra accessory slots, you can take out something that you don't feel like you may need. This is just if you're doing master mode, you'll have an extra accessory slot. So the one thing that you'll get that's going to carry you through pre-hard mode is the vine whip, or the snap-a-thorn vine, or whip, something like that. I don't remember exactly what it's called. And this is going to carry you pretty much throughout the early game. It's so easy to build. I think it's 12 stinkers, 3 vines, and 3 spores, I believe is what it takes to craft it. So it's pretty easily craftable. And then this is mostly what you're going for, and then just whatever armor you can get best of the time. I did lead since it's still pretty early on what this build is. Now the next one, you still are going to have the snap-a-vine, or the snap-a-thorn. Okay, what is this thing called? Snap-thorn. Okay, the snap-thorn whip. That's basically what you're going to have for until after Wall of Flesh. And then you'll want to get the Vampire Frog Staff, I believe it's called. And that you get from fishing an enemy from the Blood Moon and killing it, and it'll have a chance to drop it. I believe it's a 13% drop chance or something like that. It's from the zombie merman, and then the flying fish. I don't know the exact names of them, but you can pretty easily just look it up. I'll leave the class setups down in the description for you guys to like look at all the items. But then you want to have gold, tungsten armor, something like that. You don't really need, like, armor's not too important unless you're doing master mode. Then it's, you want to get the best armor you can. And then you want to get the shark tooth necklace, or you want to keep it, regen. You want to have lightning boots by this point. You probably want to do golem, or not golem, the goblin army by this point. And then the horseshoe and balloon, or if you just have a balloon and then you have another bottle or something like that, you have an extra slot in here. This isn't like too important of what you have. And then all these are pretty much exchangeable for what you think you would like. These are just what I think would be the best and what I've done in a master mode playthrough. This is what I've thought is the best so far, but you guys might have opinion, and that's fine. So now once you get to Queen Bee, you want to kill Queen Bee. You want to have the bee armor, and that'll start giving you your extra minion slots, which are very important. Now throughout all these, up until you kill Skeletron, or well, even throughout the entire game. Summoner potions are something you can get very early on. It just takes some fishing in the underground jungle, and it is very helpful for the boss fights. Now, once you kill Skeletron, you'll be able to go into the dungeon, and you'll be able to get the Bewitching Table, which will add an extra minion slot. So from the Summoning Potion and the Bewitching Table buffs, you'll have 2 extra minions, which is very, very good, especially early on. Now, for the Queen Bee, until you after you defeat the Brain, you can use the Crimson armor, which is very good. That's an extra 6% damage plus the extra life regen, which is really good because more in Summoner you're more focusing on dodging, and so if you get hit you'll be able to life regen longer. Now for this you'll want to have the Obsidian Shield, and then the new brain accessory that you get for defeating the Brain is really good due to the fact that here, let me read it exactly. So you have a chance to dodge an attack as well now. The critical chance you don't really care, but the confuse nearby enemies after being struck is pretty good too. So that's nice. You'll want your lightning boots, and now for this, you want to combine, I believe it's not the hive pack, but it's like the honeycomb or something like that. Combine it with the shark tooth necklace for the stinger necklace. It just adds a little bit. It's not like that necessary if you guys don't want to do that and just keep the regular shark tooth necklace. It's not that bad. But you'll have the same weapons, and then for the next one, which is Pre-Ball of Flesh, you'll want the Imp Staff. That's pretty much all you're replacing. If you can get Frostbark Boots, get Frostbark Boots, and if you can get better balloons, get better balloons. It's really all whatever you can get at the moment, what you feel like grinding. And then now at the start of hard mode, this is where you start getting more powerful as a summoner, and the one reason for that is for the blade. I believe it's the Blade Staff. Yes, the Blade Staff. This thing is super strong. It has daggers float above you, and what they do is they don't do very high damage, but they stick on your enemy very, very easily. It just constantly stays there and does constant damage over and over and over and over and over again. So it's very good. It doesn't have much damage, but it does more DPS, and it goes through walls and such. And then you have pretty much the same accessories. You want to get the leaf wings from the Witch Doctor in the jungle in hard mode. Once it starts, you want the Summoner emblem from Wall of Flesh. And then another thing you'll want is the Firecracker Whip, which you get from the Wall of Flesh as well. You're still having the Bee armor, and then once you start getting more into hard mode, you'll want to get the Cool Whip Vine, or not the Cool Whip Vine, the Cool Whip Whip. I guess just the Cool Whip. And then the accessories don't change, and then you'll want to get the Sanguine Staff if you want to. If not, the Blade Staff will carry you pretty far. Probably will carry you for the twins for the next one that I'll tell you about, which is after the mechs. The Sanguine Staff, you just fish out a mini boss from Blood Moon in hard mode, and you should be able to get that. Now you want to start farming a bunch of spiders for the spider armor, as well as the Queen Spider Staff, which is a sentry, which is your first sentry. And basically now you'll have a little bit of extra damage with your sentry, and then you'll have even more minions with your spider staff. Now the next, which is pre-Plantera or after mech bosses, this is kind of where it comes up to you on the armor. You can keep your spider armor for more minions, or you can have the hollow for more defense and I think a little bit more damage, I believe. The only thing about the hollowed is that you get crit chance that you don't really need. That's why I kind of prefer the spider armor, but if you need that extra defense, the hollowed is good. Now the next whip that you want is the Durandal, which you get from crafting with hollow bars, and then you also want the twin staff, or what is it called, the optic staff. Okay, I did not mean to knock that out. Oops. Alright. And then, so basically, the accessories stay pretty much the same. The only thing that you get rid of is the Shield of Cthulhu, and then the, trying to think, the Shark Tooth Necklace, for the Avenger Emblem, and the Ink Shield. Now, you can take out the Shark Tooth Necklace earlier on and keep in the Obsidian Shield. It's really what you want, but I don't find the Obsidian Shield too useful. I guess on the mech bosses it's pretty nice, but I don't think it's very early on that it's that useful. It was just really missing a menu or an accessory slot. Then for the next one, which is pre-Golem, so after playing Terra, you will want to get the Sceptre wings. You want to get these accessories. These are very crucial to Summoner, which is the Papyrus Scarab, which is the Beetle plus the Necromantic Scroll. And you'll also want to get an extra scroll because these do stack, so you'll have an extra number of minions. You'll have 15% damage with this, and then you'll also have an extra minion and 10% damage with this. So that is a huge amount of damage for your summons. And then you'll also want the insignia for infinite flight. If you have that extra minion or the extra accessory slot, I do suggest the insignia. The infinite flight is just so nice, and you get that from the new boss, the Empress of Light. So that is pretty nice. Now at this stage, depending what difficulty you're on, you may be able to defeat the Empress of Light during daytime. It's going to be very hard, but if you are able to do it, it is very good. You're able to get that summon weapon, which is the Terra Prism, which is huge amounts of damage. It's just very hard to get because the Empress of Light during the daytime will insta-kill you no matter what. It will just insta-kill you. And 100% of the damage that you do has to kill her during the day. Now, other than those accessories, you'll want the Spooky Armor. You'll want the Dark Harvest Whip, which you get both of these from the Halloween event. I can't remember the Pumpkin Moon, I think that's what it is, the Pumpkin Moon event. And an earlier version of this whip that you can get is the Morning Star, which you get from the dungeon, and then also the Staff of Frost Hydra. You want to get, that will be the next upgrade of your Sentry weapon. And then now for this staff, this one is really up to you, whichever one you want to use. You can use the Raven Staff, the Desert Tiger Staff, the Pygmy Staff, or the Deadly Sphere Staff. Personally, I've only used the Desert Tiger a little bit, but personally I like it because it's a earlier version of the Stardust Dragon. Now, even though it is a ground-based summon, it can still attack enemies high up in the sky pretty easily. And basically what this staff is, this is a new one in 1.4. The more minion capacity that you have, the greater it will become in terms of damage and tankiness, or not tankiness, but the more damage and such like that, just like the Stardust Dragon. So it is nice. It's got a cute little tiger. I mean, how can you not like that? And then the Raven Staff, yeah, it's just a normal Raven. It does do a lot of damage. And then you also have the Deadly Sphere, which also does quite a bit of damage. And then the Pygmy Staff, which is nice. They're just really fast attacking, I believe, is their strong point. I haven't really used the Pygmy Staff that much. Now, one thing that you can do is you can switch out any one of these accessories, like the Charm of Mist with the Master Ninja Gear if you feel like you need a dash. But again, I personally like the Tiger Staff, but that's just me. I find it pretty cool. Now, one thing you can get, if you can get it before Golem, the only thing the Empress of Light, depending on what difficulty you are on, is pretty hard. So that's why I put the Kaleidoscope Whip after Golem. But if you can kill her pre-Golem, do it and get the Kaleidoscope Whip. It's very strong. Now, here I put the Raven Staff just as like a variant of whichever one you want. Now, the Duke Fishhorn Wings are pretty much all you want to grind for, and then you can get rid of the Charm of Mist for extra damage with the Avenger Emblem if that's what you want to do. Some honorable mentions are the Raven Staff, the Desert Tiger, and then the Xeno Staff with the UFO. But yeah, those are some pretty good variants. And then pretty much here, none of the accessories change. You can get the Celestial Shell. You can also change it for the Charm of Mist if you do that. And then, like I said, the Terra Prism, if you can get that, but it's going to be very hard. Now, usually you want to pair the Stardust Dragon Staff with the Stardust Cell Staff, because the Cell Staff actually does not take up I thought it didn't take up a minion slot. I might be wrong about that. Okay. I think it only takes up one minion slot, and you can only use one if I'm... I thought it didn't take up a minion slot. I could be wrong about that. That's my bad. But you're basically gonna be keeping Spooky Armor here as well with the Kaleidoscope. And then for Moonlord, after, what you want to do is you want to replace your wings with the Solar Wings or the Stardust, or I believe the Stardust wings are the two best. I personally like the solar wings. You want to farm for the Terra Prism and then the Stardust armor, and then pretty much after that you will be capped out. Now for the Sentry weapon you can have the Rainbow Crystal Staff, the Lunar Portal Staff, and then if you don't have the Terra Prism, use the Stardust Dragon. It's going to be your best bet. But for this, that's just that. And then another thing, the 2 Sentry weapons that you can have, both of them shoot projectiles at the enemy. But other than that, that's basically about it. The only thing else would be the Bewitching Table and the Summon Potions that you want to keep out throughout the game as soon as you can get them, which the Summon Potions you can get pretty early on. But other than that, guys, I hope you guys did enjoy. And if you did, hit that like button, hit the subscription button. It really does help out a lot. And I hope to catch you guys with some more Terraria content on the channel. Peace, guys.